I am Dr. Manoj Khanna. I work as a principal scientist at Water Technology Center, Indian Agricultural Research Institute. Today, we will talk about modern irrigation methods for higher productivity and sustainability. And we will discuss about all the modern irrigation techniques which can not only increase water productivity, water production, and as well as crop production and enhance our land productivity for sustainability, and for a longer term we can use more water which is available to our future generations. If you look at the global water availability, fresh water resources are very limited. In this, only our share is very limited. For India, fresh water resources are only 4% of total water availability, while our land is 2.3% of total land, while our population is more than 16%, and our rainfall is very limited, which is a finite number. It is 1170 millimeter. Now, using these resources, we have to feed our population to the tune of 16% of the world population, which is a big challenge, and it can only be possible by using modern irrigation methods. If you look at the water scenario in current or previous 1990, 2000 and by 2025, our major water is going to be used in irrigation. Now, in irrigation, unless you contribute or enhance the water productivity or irrigation water productivity, you are not going to be sustainable, and our crops will not be grown, and our population, enough food is not available to our population. Let us see per capita water availability, which is going down in every year because of our rise in population, demand for irrigation, industrial water use, and all these are putting a pressure on water availability, which is a big challenge to manage water. Irrigation. What is irrigation? Why we need to irrigate? You have to put soil moisture in the soil, and our challenge is when and how much to irrigate and how to apply. Here in this lecture, we will talk more about how to apply and best way to apply water to enhance water productivity. Which are the irrigation efficient irrigation methods which not only saves water, money, energy, labor, fertilizer, they protect groundwater, minimize the incident of pests and diseases, and improve water quality, and not only increase the yield but also land sustainability. Let us see what it is happening with mismanagement of water. What are the modern irrigation methods where we are going to discuss in detail? Mainly modern irrigation methods are drip and micro sprinkler, and another method is a sprinkler irrigation method. What are the basic characteristics of these irrigation methods? They require low flow, they need good filtration, they reduce not only application losses but also runoff, and they have a capability of controlled application, which is a big challenge to our farming community, that how much water to apply, how much time we should continue our irrigation, which is a big challenge, which is possible only through these modern irrigation methods. Let us start the discussion with drip irrigation system. This picture shows typical drip irrigation system which has a pipeline network and where the water is applied near to the crop. If you look at the concept of drip irrigation system, which says delivery of water at a very low flow rates through various type of water applicator by distribution system located on the soil surface as well as beneath the surface or suspended above the ground. Water is applied as drop, as the name says, drip irrigation, and tiny streams or spray through emitters, sprayers or porous tubing. We will talk about in detail about these systems in subsequent discussion. Let us see typical layout of drip irrigation system. It starts from water source, you pump the water, then water moves through various type of filters to clean the water, and then it can also move through fertigation system, which we will further discuss, and then water is being supplied through network of pipeline, and at the plant level or the crop level, the water is coming out through drops, not as a large stream, where a drop by drop near to the crop root zone, and we are wetting only crop root zone and where the water is required by the crop. That not only increases the conveyance efficiency, but also application efficiency. We are providing water as a demand by the crop. So, enhance the water availability to the crop in a sustainable environment, conducive environment to the crop. This not only increase the water application efficiency, but also enhance the water productivity, crop productivity, as well as crop quality. Typical water application characteristics of the drip irrigation systems are: they are applied at a low rates over a long period of time at a frequent interval, near or directly into the root zone, at a low pressure, usually maintains relatively high water content, used on higher value agriculture and horticulture crops or landscape, in a nursery or in a surface covered cultivation. By these characteristics, it increases the crop water productivity and crop production and quality. What are the advantage of drip irrigation system or point wise or drop by drop irrigation system? It provides better soil water regime for a better crop yield, water and fertilizer savings. You need very less labor, only a little skill is required. You do not need land leveling, which is required for other irrigation methods. Wherever when you apply limited quantity of water, you lead to the minimum weed problem, and automatic control is possible, less incidence of pests and diseases. So, these are the typical advantages of drip irrigation system, which need to be understood by the farmers or users. What are the adaptability and limitations of drip irrigation system? It can be used for all type of fruits, vegetables, vines, cottons, sugarcane, in a arid and as well as semi-arid areas, in a hilly area, coastal area, but also on a wastelands. What are our limitations? We look at it. There are operational problems such as clogging, which can be overcome by frequent flushing of the system or properly maintaining the system. It needs high initial cost and little bit higher skills, which needed a training program for the users. If you look at the higher initial cost, it is being supported by local government or the federal government or a state government by giving support or in terms of subsidy and by promoting these kind of irrigation systems. If you look at the components of drip irrigation systems, it contains main line, which is made of high density polyethylene or PVC, some main line and laterals. These are generally plastic made of different materials such as high density polyethylene, polyvinyl chloride or linear low density polyethylene or low density polyethylene. While emitters are at the kept on a surface as well as below the surface, and you need a control system such as proper filters, controllers, valves, as we saw in our control head system or the total layout when we have. There is also a possibility of application of fertilizer along with irrigation systems in this drip irrigation, which is known as fertigation system, which are typically used as water tanks, venturi or dosmetic pumps or the measured different type of pumps, where the fertilizer solution is injected along with water to the crops. What are the different type of drip systems available? Surface drip, which is a point source of application where water is applied through a small emitter opening to the soil surface. Normally, these type of emitters are available in a 2 liters to 8 liters per hour discharge. Most preference type of drip irrigation system is common, and you can have advantage of that. You can see on the top of the surface, you can see where if it is leaking, if it is coming, water is not coming, you can take a corrective action, you can check the wetting pattern and as well as measures the emitter discharge. You can see typical water wetting pattern. If you have a surface drip irrigation system, you can see these type of small diameters water wetting patterns indicate water is available only in these area only. Rest of the area is totally dry, in which while in a surface irrigation we irrigate all these area which is not needed here. Water is applied only where the crop is, where the plant is, where the roots are. Another type of system in a drip is a disk source where water is applied in terms of spray, jet, fog or mist to the soil surface at a low pressure, normally at a rate of 50 to 100 liters per hour. You need to have an aerial distribution of water opposed to the soil distribution. Reduced filtration and maintenance is required in this type of system, and it has a higher flow rate. It is typically required in surface covered cultivation where you need a microclimate for a better crop condition, and it is commonly used in a high value crops where you can get a higher value of the crops or commercial crops. In another type of system, which is a subsurface drip irrigation system, where water is applied through emitters, but they are below the soil surface and directly water is being supplied to the crop root zone, and it is normally buried at a depth of 6 centimeter to 30 centimeter. And this is a typical of a permanent installation. You can use it for high value crops, and you can save even more water in this kind of system, but this type of system is sometimes prone to the problems such as clogging, and you need to have a regular maintenance of this kind of system. Other design and management issues are clogging. As I discussed, you have a physical clogging, chemical clogging, biological clogging. You need to have a proper filtration, regularly managing the filtration system through settling basin, sand separator or the sand filters, typical centrifugal or cyclone filters, media filters and screen filters, by which you can clean the water before it is being delivered to the plant. If you look at the total application of drip irrigation system in various type of crops, in vegetable crops, you will see it's not only saves 40 to 50% of water, but also increase yield of the crop and also enhances the quality of the crop, because we are supplying water at a desired level, desired quantity, and that enhances the conducive environment to the crop, and which increases water application efficiency as well as water quality and crop quality and crop production. You can see typical again low head drip irrigation system. Here for a kitchen gardens, if you have a very small garden or a small field on the back of your house, or you are in a farmers normally produce for their homegrown vegetables, which can use tank operated drip irrigation system, which operates on a very low head and uses for a typically backyard and a low income group farmers, where they are producing these type of vegetable for nutritional security and livelihood security for their own consumption. This is a typical example of drip irrigation system in vegetable crops. Here you see we have a pipeline, but water is applied only a specific area where the crop is, rest of the area is totally dry, and you can see weed growth is only near the crop, not in the whole field. So, it reduces the labor requirement, cleaning requirement, and enhances the income of the farmer. You can see the water pattern typically near the crop root zone where the crop is, and water is only applied near the crop. You can see another vegetable crops in which one lateral line is scattering to the two lines of crop, and it is see the quality of the crop, and you enhances the water productivity, crop production. Another example of typical jet type of micro sprinklers in an orchard crop, in a grown up orchard where you apply water near to the root zone. Another example of high value crops such as lettuce, in which drip irrigation system is commonly used to enhance water productivity and crop quality, where the rates of the crop depends on the crop quality and look of the crop. There it is very important to use this kind of system for enhance income of the farmer. Typical onion crop under drip irrigation system, which is very suitable for drip. And another example is a groundnut. Groundnut crop is a crop where the number of pods are important. Now, these number of pods depend on the pegging of the nodes. Now, this pegging depends. If the soil is too dry, the pegging will not take. More the pegging, more number of pods. So, drip irrigation, when the crop is kept in such a way, the soil is moist all the time, and you enhance the productivity of groundnut. This is a typical example of drip irrigation system in groundnut for enhancing water productivity and crop productivity. Another example and another picture shown. In this also we use micro sprinklers for keeping the crop in a very high temperature. A microclimate is being created for enhancing the crop productivity. Another crop which is commonly grown in a drip irrigation system is a high value crop, is a garlic, and which gives a very good response to the drip irrigation. Typical micro sprinklers are also commonly used for garlic crop. Another effort by the government of India is promoting the drip irrigation system in canal command area. In this, farmers are encouraged to use water. If they are getting water from canal system, they should use drip irrigation system in all their crops, suitable crops, for enhancing water productivity. If you look at the theoretical potential of the drip irrigation system in the country is more than 27 million hectare. We have covered only 8 to 9 million hectare in all over the country till now. We need to do enhanced activity in drip irrigation system for productivity, for enhancing water productivity, saving the water, and for saving the livelihood of the farmers and land sustainability. Another advantage of drip irrigation system is application of fertilizer along with irrigation, which is known as fertigation. And fertigation means you are applying water soluble fertilizers along with irrigation directly to the crop, which is now a very common practice in drip irrigation users. You can see the advantage in different type of crops, different type of vegetables, see the advantage of fertilizer savings as well as nutrient use efficiency. This will enhance the water quality, water productivity, fertilizer productivity, and crop production. What are the different irrigation injection methods for fertigation, such as you can use suction injection, pressure differential injection such as Venturi system. In a suction injection, it is a typical fertigation tank is been attached in a control system. Water soluble fertilizer is being mixed into the tank, and these fertilizer or fertilizer solution is being injected into the water system and directly applied to the near the crop. Another option is pump injection, in which different type of pumps are used for using the same water pressure or a different electrical pressure for applying fertilizer solution into the drip irrigation system. Another advantage of drip irrigation is you can use this drip irrigation system with poor quality water. You can have a irrigation, see the slide and in which the radish and potato with a poor water quality, if you have a drip irrigation system, you can get higher yield as well as higher water use efficiency, which is not possible in a surface irrigation methods or a ridge furrow irrigation methods. Now, we move towards another technology of a modern irrigation method, which is sprinkler irrigation system. And this, if you look at the historically, when sprinkler irrigation is used in early 1960s, in this technology is being introduced in a tea gardens of the country. The reason is these tea gardens were on an undulating land, and irrigation through surface irrigation was very difficult. Now, the farmers starts using sprinkler irrigation for irrigating tea gardens. Slowly, this technology is being extended to all field crops, and now it has been one of the most popular irrigation system in the country. If you look at the definition of this system, it is again a pressurized irrigation system through devices called sprinkler, and they are located on the pipes called laterals, and water is discharged into air just like similar to the rain, and crop loves it. And water is being applied in terms of a rainfall, and you have a more controlled application, and it also not only saves the water but also crop productivity. Typical layout of the sprinkler irrigation system, starting from water source, you have a main line, some main line and a lateral line, and then sprinkler systems. If you look at the advantages, sprinkler irrigation system, it is suited to all kind of topography. It is very easy to operate, it requires very less labor and very little skill, no need of land leveling, minimal weed problem, you have a automatic control is possible, and you have a less incidence of pests and diseases. What are the adaptability and limitations of sprinkler irrigation system which can be used in large area? It can be used for all type of field crops, vegetables, cotton, sugarcane, arid and semi-arid areas, hilly areas, coastal area and wastelands. What are the limitations if you look at it? It requires higher pressure, you need to have a better higher size motor for irrigation system. It requires higher initial cost, little bit higher skill is required for the operation. Once training is being done, not very difficult to use, and it is sometimes difficult to apply water in a windy condition. You need to organize in such a way in an early morning or late evening to avoid windy conditions. What are the components of the sprinkler irrigation system? It contains main line, some main line, lateral lines, sprinklers, control system as well as venturi system. Main lines, some main line, lateral lines are commonly used made of high density polyethylene. Earlier they used to made through aluminum pipe, which is now no longer available. People have shifted from all the things are moving towards plastics, while sprinklers are made of plastics as well as metal, gunmetal or brass, and you have a control system. You have to connect it to motor or pump set, and you can also apply fertilizer or water soluble fertilizer through irrigation system. The advantage of fertigation, as we discussed earlier, are also applicable in sprinkler irrigation system. What are the different components? Let us see in the details. Sprinkler, which are the devices made of brass or plastics with one or more small diameter nozzles. Impact sprinklers are available, which are different type of nozzles. We will see in the further slides. They are part circle sprinklers used in all type of irrigation, especially agriculture crops. Let us see the impact sprinkler. You can see two type of nozzles. One is range nozzle, another is a spreader nozzle. Range nozzle covers the larger area of the irrigation, and there is an impact arm. By using that, it rotates, and there are bearings and all that. So, very little moving parts, and it lasts, very little maintenance is required, not much of the problem in regularly operating it. Another examples of impact sprinklers. This is a pop-up or part circle impact sprinkler head, which is commonly used for the gardens, lawns or turf grass or golf courses, which is commonly used where irrigation water or the water is being used for growing grass in a landscape. In a modern city networks, you need to have this kind of pop-ups to save water in an urban area also. Typical components of the sprinkler systems like band, T, straight couple. If you look at the application of sprinkler systems in a wheat crop, gram crop, and it is being said in rural areas, if you apply sprinkler irrigation, 1 or 2 irrigation in gram crop, it doubles the yield, and which is a truth. And it not only increases the productivity of the crop, but also saves water, increases the income of the farmer and saves lot of water. Typical example of wheat under sprinkler irrigation. Another vegetable crops in sprinkler irrigation. You can use mini sprinkler for vegetable crops. Government of India is promoting sprinkler in canal command areas, which is directly pumping is possible from canals and water is being applied using sprinkler systems. Typical moving type of sprinkler systems. Under tree sprinkler systems in orchard crops, and you can see the operating of the sprinkler system in a typical operational mode. You can see another crops in a sprinkler systems. In a vineyards where the sprinklers have been operated at above the surface to keep the microclimate or enhance the productivity. New technology is being coming into in terms of a large size sprinkler systems, which are called as rain gun sprinklers, and which is also becoming very common in our country. One of the important parameter is in a sprinkler system is a uniformity of water application. If you don't apply properly, the non-uniform water application is not desirable. So, you need to have a manage in such a way that uniform water application is required. It not only increase soil moisture uniformity, lower water or power bills, easier irrigation system scheduling, reduce runoff, deeper percolation and healthy plant and turf grass, which is more resistant to the pest and diseases. What are the factors affecting uniformity? We are going into some technical details. One of the important point is the trajectory angle of the sprinkler nozzle, number of nozzles in the sprinklers, vane of the sprinkler nozzle, and management factors are the operating hours, such as if it is you operate in a high wind area, it creates a problem, and number of laterals operating at a time. You need to have a proper design to have a better uniformity. Typically, uniformity pattern, if you look at it, if it is operating on a desired pressure or a normal pressure, you have this on the top irrigation water uniformity or the distribution. If it is pressure is too high or pressure is too low, you can have a distortion of this uniformity. It is said the water distribution should be such as normal distribution curve, and which is a very desirable trait in sprinkler water uniformity. Typical advantage of sprinkler irrigation in various type of crops. At various studies, research studies have been conducted. You can see these kind of different results, and which clearly shows not only water saving, enhance water use efficiency, enhance yield, crop productivity, water productivity, crop production, and better sustainability. I stop here, and to conclude, we discussed today modern irrigation methods such as drip irrigation system, sprinkler irrigation system for enhanced water productivity and land sustainability. These type of systems are essential to enhance the water productivity of the country and to save water and to enhance crop production and to double our income of the farmers. Thank you.